Milwaukee is back on top and look like a real threat in the playoffs, although the East remains a fascinating chase. It's Golden State, then everyone else in the West. 1. Bucks, 46-14, last week. No. 2. Don't tell anyone, but Giannis Antetokounmpo is hitting his threes lately. In his last 15 games, the Greek Freak is shooting 39.5% from 3 on 2.9 attempts per game. The defensive strategy on the Bucks in the playoffs will be to lay 15 feet off Antetokounmpo and dare him to shoot. If he can take and make enough of those just to keep the defense honest, it's a game changer. Of course, if the Bucks need a big three at the end of a game, say, against the Celtics, they would want Chris Middleton to take it. Warriors, 43-17, LW1. The much-hyped starting five of the Warriors, Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson, Kevin Durant, Draymond Green, DeMarcus Cousins, has struggled. In its last 8 games together, the lineup has a net rating of -15.1 per 100 possessions, and they have been bad on both ends of the court. The result is the Warriors having to dig out of holes seemingly every game. In his last 5 games, DeMarcus Cousins is averaging 14.6 points per game, but on just 40.3% shooting overall and 20% from 3. If you're looking for chinks in the armor, Golden State has some. 3. Raptors, 45-17, LW3. Toronto appears locked into the 2 seed in the East, 2.5 games back of the Bucks, 4.5 up on the Pacers, giving Nick Nurse a chance to experiment with lineups around Marc Gasol and Jeremy Lin, to see where they best fit. Toronto made a statement by blowing out the Celtics on Tuesday night, showing off their combination of length, shooting, and versatility. Toronto looked every bit the title contender in the win. The kind of team Kawhi Leonard might want to stick around for. 4. Nuggets, 41-18, LW7. Denver has found its defense again. In the last 5 games, they have allowed less than a point per possession, 97.7 per 100, the best in the league over that stretch. That's a good sign for the postseason. So is the fact Nuggets also are a matchup nightmare for the Thunder. In their 3 meetings this season, OKC has led the games for 12 minutes total, Denver for 85 minutes. There have been questions about how far the untested Nuggets can go in the postseason, but in the win Tuesday night over the Thunder they looked like the second-best team in the West. 5. Thunder, 38-21, LW4. This is better Thunder team than a year ago heading into the playoffs. Russell Westbrook has found his shooting stroke of late, Paul George looks like an MVP candidate, and there is no Carmelo Anthony. Of concern, however, is the fact Denver seems to have their number, which would be an issue in the playoffs. The Thunder are the current 3 seed in the West but have the toughest remaining schedule of any team in the NBA, and Portland is only 1 game back, slipped to the 4 seed, and even if they beat Houston, Utah in the first round, they are on the Warriors' side of the bracket for the second round. 6. Pacers, 40-21, LW8. So much for the Pacers falling back without Victor Oladipo. They are 8-2 in their last 10 with a 11.1 net rating, mostly because their defense has been elite during the stretch. Nobody is a bigger Pacers fan the rest of the way than the Raptors, because if Indiana holds on to the 3 seed, the path for the 2 seed, almost certainly Toronto, to the conference finals is much easier. 7. 76ers, 39-22, LW6. The Sixers have gone 2-1 without Joel Embiid since the All-Star break, sore knee, but they have not looked like the same team without their best player and anchor in the middle. Philly will be without him, and Boban, against Oklahoma City Thursday. That is followed by a big test against Golden State on Saturday. If Embiid is not back for that game, it feels like the red flag on his health flies a little higher. They need Embiid back to help this team gel before the playoffs. 8. Trailblazers, 37-23, LW11. How much they can play him in the postseason is a different question, but in the regular season adding Enes Kanter to back up Yusuf Nurkic has led to an advantage in the paint and on the glass so far for Portland. Combined through 3 games they have averaged 37 points and 17.7 rebounds a game. Portland has started 3-0 on a 7-game road trip through the East, but Boston and Toronto are up next. 9. Celtics, 37-24, LW5. They have lost 3 in a row out of the All-Star break, including to Milwaukee and getting blown out by Toronto. More concerning, the Celtics have a bottom 10 defense in the NBA through their last 10 games. That was supposed to be their calling card, supposed to be Brad Stevens' strength, and the Celtics have not been good of late. They are 5th in the NBA defensively for the season. It's hard to figure out where this team ranks in the pecking order of the East, but the last couple of games have not been promising. 10. Rockets, 35-25, LW9. James Harden's 30 points a game scoring streak ended the way it was always going to, against a team where he didn't need to put up crazy numbers for them to win. He still had 28. If the Rockets are going to return to being the second-best team in the West, 2 things need to happen the rest of the way. Chris Paul needs to keep playing like he did against Golden State, 23 points, 17 assists, and their defense needs to improve to at least league average levels if not better. Just a couple of things to watch. 11. Jazz, 33-26, LW10. We don't question Utah's ability to defend, even if they have been up and down of late on that end, but the offense actually has been good recently. In their last 10 games, they have averaged 114.6 points per 100 possessions, 6th best in the NBA over that stretch and better than the Thunder or Bucks. Donovan Mitchell is attacking, and anyone who continues to think Rudy Gobert is just a defender needs to sit down and watch more Utah basketball. He has good hands and can score around the rim. 12. Clippers, 34-28, LW13. The Clippers are the 7th seed in the West, on pace to finish with 44 wins, and they have a 74% chance of making the playoffs, according to 538.com. Doc Rivers is doing that with unconventional lineups, starting Landry Shamet and Ivica Zubac, 2 recent additions, and counting on Lou Williams and Montrezl Harrell off the bench to carry the day. And it's working, but there are big tests in their playoff chase this week with games against the Kings and Lakers, 2 of the teams chasing Los Angeles. Nets, 32-30, LW15. After stumbling back into a fight for a playoff spot, the Nets seem to have righted the ship, winning 3 of 4, and they now have a 4-game cushion over the 9-seed Magic. They're going to be a playoff team. That said, they have the 4th hardest remaining schedule in the NBA, 2nd in the East, and that could leave them open to getting passed by surging Detroit for the 6th seed. They need more of the D'Angelo Russell we saw against Charlotte, where he scored the team's final 12 points to secure the win. 14 Pistons, 29-30, 16. Welcome to the playoffs, Detroit, winners of 7 of 8 with the best defense in the NBA during that stretch, 120 points per 100. The Pistons are the 7th seed in the East. And they have an easier schedule the rest of the way than anyone they're competing with for one of the final spots other than Orlando. The key has been Reggie Jackson, who in his last 10 games is averaging 19.2 points per game, shooting 44.8% from 3, is dishing out 5.7 assists a night, and has 9.4 points per game. Blake Griffin and Andre Drummond will do their thing, but this team needs Jackson to be great to thrive. 15. Kings, 31-29, LW12. Rookie Marvin Bagley has steadily improved all season, starting to really find his groove. He had good games against the Warriors, Thunder, and Timberwolves, combining for 72 points and 35 rebounds in those contests. The Kings dropped 3 of 4 on a tough road trip, and things do not get easier now with the Bucks and then the Clippers, one of the teams they are trying to catch for the final playoff slots in the West. 16. Spurs, 33-29, LW14. A couple weeks ago the talk was about the Clippers slipping back and getting passed for a playoff spot by the Kings or Lakers, but now the Spurs look like the vulnerable team. San Antonio went 1-7 on the rodeo road trip and now sit as the 8th seed, just 1 game up on Sacramento. 538 gives the Spurs an 81% chance of making the playoffs, but that seems high unless the Spurs start to defend a lot better. The Spurs are home again, but with the Pistons, Thunder, and Nuggets coming to town, there are not easy wins on the horizon. 17. Timberwolves, 29-31, LW21. Karl Anthony Towns' streak of 303 consecutive games played ended because of a car accident that left him in the league's concussion protocol. The funniest thing this week was Ja Rule putting a curse on the Timberwolves, saying Cat was going to leave. That would be the same guy whose 5-year max extension kicks in next season. If he's going anywhere, it's not for a while. Minnesota is building around him. Now, if Ja Rule wants to curse Andrew Wiggins out of town, that would be welcome among Wolves fans. 18. Magic, 28-34, LW19. Orlando is on the doorstep of the playoffs thanks to an 8-3 run fueled by their defense, the best in the NBA over that stretch, although the loss to the Knicks Tuesday hurt. Not coincidentally, Orlando's rise started when coach Steve Clifford stopped playing Mo Bamba. He has potential but is not ready, and Jonathan Simmons, since traded. Orlando has an easier schedule than everyone else chasing one of the final playoff spots in the East. They have a real shot. 19. Hornets, 28-32, LW17. Charlotte has lost 4 of 5 and subbing Miles Bridges in for Jeremy Lamb in the starting lineup after the All-Star break has not changed things. Charlotte sits as the 8th seed in the East as you read this, just 1 game up on Orlando and 1.5 on Miami, and the Hornets have the toughest remaining schedule of any team in the East. Y538.com gives the Hornets just a 40% chance of making the playoffs. Miss the postseason, and Kemba Walker's free agent decision this summer gets more interesting. 20 Pelicans, 27-35, LW23. The Pelicans are limiting the minutes of Anthony Davis down the stretch. More interestingly, they had some good play without him. The Pelicans beat the Lakers while Davis sat. A fourth-quarter run to make it just a 1-point loss after trailing by 17 earlier, against the 76ers came with Davis on the bench. They are still 7.5 per 100 better with Davis on the court since his return from injury, but the Pelicans are showing they can do some things without their star who doesn't want to be there. Julius Randle continues to play himself into a big contract this summer. 21. Lakers, 29-31, LW20. 2 ugly losses has led to renewed questions about Luke Walton's job security. Few around the league think he's back next season, and a passive-aggressive LeBron James seeming current starting lineup with Brandon Ingram, Kyle Kuzma, JaVale McGee, Reggie Bullock and James is giving up 116.2 points per 100 possessions. For reference, the Cleveland Cavaliers have the worst defensive rating in the league at 115.9. LeBron's effort has been at the heart of those defensive issues. Before LeBron, and maybe Magic, goes blaming the young kids for the Lakers not making the playoffs, they may want to look at this chart. This is how many points better, worse the Lakers are per 100 possessions when a player is on the floor this season. Min. 500 minutes played, LeBron equals 7.4, Chandler equals 5.6, Hart equals 4.7, Zoo equals 3.0, Zo equals 1.3, Kuz equals 1.2, Bai equals 0.2, KCP equals -4.1, Rondo equals -4.5, McGee equals -4.9, Lance equals -6.2. Laker Film Room, at Laker Film Room, February 24, 2019-22. Heat, 26-33, LW22. Miami has a lot of nice complementary players, Josh Richardson, Justice Winslow, Bam Adebayo, but no true star to create good looks and lead them in crunch time. The return of Goran Dragic doesn't change that. The Heat are only 1.5 games out of the playoffs, but with the Warriors, Rockets, and Nets on the schedule this week, it's going to take some upsets to get them in playoff position. 23. Mavericks, 26-34, LW18. Losers of 5 in a row, they were without Luka Doncic for the first couple of games after the All-Star break, but he was back against Clippers Monday. Not that it mattered. Classy move by Doc Rivers at the end of Monday's game to make sure that Dirk Nowitzki got a proper send-off from the Los Angeles fans. 24. Wizards, 24-36, LW 24. Bradley Beal leads the NBA in total minutes played this season, but with the Wizards all but out of the playoff chase you'd think Scott Brooks would start to ease up on him. You'd be wrong. He has played at least 41 minutes in each of the Wizards' last 4 games, all losses. Washington is 4 back of a playoff slot and 538.com has them with a 7% chance of getting back into the postseason. Time to ease up on Beal, 25. Grizzlies, 24-38, LW 25. Memphis wouldn't mind winning enough, and getting some lottery luck, so that they lose their first-round pick to Boston this season in a down draft. Their actions at the trade deadline just made that hard. With where they stand now, the Grizzlies have a 3.8% chance of sending that pick to the Celtics, and they are not going to win enough the rest of the way to improve those odds much. 26. Bulls, 16-45, LW 27. The Bulls are playing their best basketball of the season, having won 3 of 4 and having the best offense in the NBA in the month of February. When Zach LaVine, Otto Porter and Lauri Markkanen are on the court together, this has been a good offensive team, and that gives real hope for the future in the Windy City. 27. Hawks, 20-41, LW 26. Trae Young continues to play well and put up numbers, 30 points against the Pistons, and 36 against the Rockets. But while we focus on his scoring, his passing is still creating highlight after highlight, and he, along with John Collins, are making the Hawks worth watching. 28. Knicks, 13-48, LW 30. No tanking for Zion here. The Knicks have won 3 of 4 and have done in part thanks to Dennis Smith Jr., but the emergence of Mitchell Robinson has helped as well. The rookie big man had 17 points, 14 rebounds, and 6 blocks against the solid front line of Orlando Tuesday night. I'm not sure he's going to be the star some Knicks fans think, but he could be part of the rotation in whatever the Knicks will look like next. 29. Cavaliers, 14-47, LW 28. Kevin Love, back from injury for 5 games now, looks like he is starting to get his legs back under him as Love scored 32 against Memphis and now has 66 points and 35 rebounds in his last 3 games. Love looking healthy the rest of the season will increase the odds he gets traded this summer, although those odds are not that high. 30. Suns, 12-50, LW 29. A surprising win in Miami ended a 17-game losing streak on Monday night, thanks to a balanced attack from their starters, led by Devin Booker with 20. If Suns fans missed the win because all they're doing is watching Duke games, you can't blame them. Equals.